Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakwadash, double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, the Aquath that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the 144,000, the 1/3, the hopeful elect of Israel. I'm just going to try to summarize what I see very quickly. So we're going to read one precept. We're going to try to put the pieces of the puzzle together real quick, dealing with our 911. How about that? Our 9/11. The Israelis are saying this is our 9/11. So let's investigate that. We'll start right here at Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Okay, so you got to know everything that's going on. You got to research that thing. You got to search the scriptures. You got to stay up to date with current events. Look at the news and spit out the bones, so to speak. So we're going to start right here. What happened after our 911, the original 911? What did it create? Okay, after 911, what did America do? They started invading a bunch of countries. So if this is Israel's 9/11, what are they going to do with this situation? How are they going to use this situation called their 911? Well, here's what happened in the original 911.
Is it true?
Right here.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." I said, "We're going to war with Iraq? Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we got a good military and we can take down governments." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, "I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today," and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years."
Okay, now listen and take account of the countries and watch who the last one is. The last one is very important, okay? But not that it's about who the last one is. It's about this is what 911 was used for. It wasn't used to go after who did it. They didn't go after Saudi Arabia. They went after whoever the hell they wanted to and used 9/11 as an excuse.
Starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Huh? Finishing off where? So they got bogged down in Syria early on, like '08, right? And never made it to Iran because in order to make it to Iran, you got to go through Syria. And what happened in Syria? Vladimir Putin stepped in and said, "No, you're not going to do this. Not through me, you're not." And they haven't. So whatever's going on in Syria broke this plan up. So whatever we see right now, they're still trying to achieve this goal. Let this finish.
I said, "Is it classified?" He said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Well, don't show it to me." About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." I said, "We're going to war with Iraq? Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said,
Okay, so they weren't connected, but they used it.
No. He says there's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we got a good military and we can take down governments. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran. I said, is it classified? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, don't show it to me. About 10 days after 9/11.
Okay, so you get the point. All right, so that was what 911 yielded. Okay, now let me show you this real quick. All right, I typed this in minutes ago. Israel, this is our 911. 20 hours ago, here's what pops up. Now remember, if it's 3 years ago, that means that they don't want you to see, they want you to see something that happened 3 years ago. Right now, 20 hours ago, our 911, Israeli ambassador. Oh, so you're going to use this situation to do what the Americans did? This is your 911. Savage terrorist. This is 1 day ago. Attack on Israel is our 911. This is our 911. This is our 911. There's a year ago. Nothing. 1 day ago. 10 hours ago. Israel's 911 moment. Okay? I'm not saying it. They're saying it. Okay? Here's that magical number, which is up to 800 by now, but anyway. So, according to them, according to the Israeli ambassador, this is their 911. What happened on 911? Let's see. Let's see what happened on 911. This happened.
I didn't know what that was. People going under the desk. I heard the chief of the department yell, the tower has come down. The tower has come down.
How did it come down? Okay. Guess what? 3 buildings came down that day. 1, 2. What else came down? What else came down that day? Building 7. Let's keep going. Here's Building 7. This is National Institute of Standards and Technology. All right. What is it saying? The collapse of the 47th story. Okay, so anyway, let's watch this real quick. Got to understand that the third building, how it
New
fell.
York City, 2001. No tall building had ever collapsed primarily due to fire. But that's exactly what investigators believe happened to the 47-story World Trade Center Building 7 on September 11th. According to a 3-year comprehensive building and fire safety investigation just completed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST.
World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires. We really have a new kind of progressive collapse that we have discovered here, which is a fire-induced progressive collapse. And in fact, we've shown for the first time that fire can induce a progressive collapse.
NIST used detailed data
How long does it take?
describing the building and its contents to create the most complex computer simulation of a structure collapse ever made. Falling debris from Tower 1 started fires on 10 floors in Building 7. A break in the city water main from the collapse of the towers disabled sprinklers in the lower half of WTC 7, allowing fires on those floors to burn for 7 hours. The NIST computer model was validated with evidence from videos, photos, witness accounts, and other data. Floors.
This is complete horse shit. Okay. That was complete horse shit. Okay. Those buildings didn't fall because of a fire. Why did they fall? Let's ask Larry Silverstein. Okay. I don't know if this is it, but we have him on record saying, pull it. Okay. Let's see if this is it.
In the event of any damage to the buildings, it was my obligation to repair the damage or replace whatever is necessary, to do it as quickly as possible, like kind, like quality. The buildings came down, my obligation now was to put it back. It dawned upon me very, very swiftly that we couldn't let this go. We couldn't let this.
Nope. Where's pull it? Come on now, quit trying to see how they're hiding it? Where's pull it? Come on, Larry.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
What does it mean, pull it? Okay, comments are turned off. This term, pull it, is used in controlled demolition. Okay, so this guy, Larry Silverstein, had 2 insurance policies that he took out on a World Trade Center. 2 insurance policies in case anything happened to it. Here we have him saying, in technical demolition terms, pull it. Okay? And that's exactly what happened to Building 7. He even said it, the guy that paid for and wired up the buildings to fall the way they did. Okay? So we're adding it up, all right? Let's see. So we see what came out, what the tragedy, if you call it that, was used for. Okay? Now, I got to get a precept real quick so that you understand what's going on. Genesis 3 and 1. Okay? We got to find out this devil. The serpent's deception. Okay? When you understand that Esau is the serpent, we'll get that real quick. Genesis 3 and 1. Now the serpent, right, who today represents Esau, right, Edom, the Edomites, all of them, okay, was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. Okay, that's all we need. That's all we're going to read. We can read the rest and I can break it down, but, okay, all we need to focus on is, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which you're like, oh, well, you're taking that out of context. No, I'm not. All right? That's all we need. That's a statement that you need to qualify. All right, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Now we're going to read about the serpent again. Okay, Revelation 12. Okay, what we have to do is we've got to qualify who this serpent is. Okay, because he's more than just the serpent. He has many names in the Bible. All right, we're going to start here at 3, Revelation 12 and 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. A great what? Red, there's a clue, dragon. Okay, and that's all we need. The red dragon. Who is the red dragon? Esau is the red dragon. You could say Rome, Edom, Rome, but it's talking about the Edomites. Okay, now we come down to Revelation 12 and 9. And the great dragon, same dragon right here. What? Great dragon. This just happens to point out what color he is. Another clue. The great dragon, same one. He's red. Great dragon was cast out. Now it's going to go through the rest of his names. That old serpent, we just read about him. Old meaning in the Garden of Eden. Oh, what? Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So this serpent is that great dragon. Same. He's also called the devil and Satan. Okay? Everybody knows that the devil is red. Is he not? Let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. The devil is red. Satan is red. Right? The serpent, right, is red. The dragon is great and red. Who else is red? And the first came out like a serpent all over. Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red. All over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau, who is the father of the Edomites. So this great red dragon is talking about the Edomites. Okay? He's more subtle than any beast of the field. Okay? And he has a signature in what he does. Now, we saw how Building 7 came down, right? And Larry Silverstein said, pull it. Right? This devil said, pull it. And the building came down. He gave the order.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull. And then we watched the building collapse.
The building collapsed after he said pull it. So it didn't, it got hot and then it just collapsed right after he said pull it. Because of the fire, it just knew magically and it just fell. Well, okay, that's a great explanation. Now, somebody explain this. This happened 2 days ago. Okay, 13 hours ago. This is about 2 days ago now on Fox News. I saw this on Fox News. I'm like, wait a minute. That looks familiar. That looks familiar. So let's take a look at this. And what I want you to notice, right, is over here, before you see any bomb go off, over here. I want you to notice over here, probably this right there. Keep your eye on that. Okay? Because this building is going to start falling before this building falls. So what's going to happen? You're going to see this building fall like building 7, same way. And buildings don't fall like that. Unless, of course, you wire it up like. So this building is going to fall, then the flash of light, then immediately after, not 7 hours after burning, but immediately this building is going to fall. Well, and this is how they fall those buildings aren't as strong as the World Trade Center. Well, they all fell the same way. No matter how strong anything was, we see them falling the same way. So buildings in Israel or in Palestina, they can fall any old way because I said so. Watch closely before this ball of light. And who gave Hamas, let me ask you this, who gave Hamas firearms, cruise missiles? What'd they shoot? A couple of rockets. How do rockets make buildings fall like this? This happened a couple of days ago. Let's watch it a couple of times. We're going to watch it a couple of times. Let's lock it. Watch this.
Back with airstrikes of its own into Palestinian territory and calling up.
Watch again. Buildings don't fall like that, people, unless you wire them up. Watch this.
Back with airstrikes of its own into Palestinian territory and calling up hundreds.
See that? Watch it again. First this, then the flash, then this. Immediately.
Back with airstrikes of its own into Palestinian territory and calling up.
And there you have it. This is Israel's 911. Does it make sense? Does that make sense? Let's go back to Sirach. Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So, what did Wesley Clark say? Now that we have the new 911, right? This is our 911, right? This is our 911, Israel. It says Israel. This is our 911, says Israel. So what are they going to do? Everything's in place. What are they about to do? They're about to do what Wesley Clark, let's go back to Wesley. What did Babylon do? Take it away.
Went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." I said, "We're going to war with Iraq? Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." Is it true? About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld, and one of the
10 days after 9/11, they had a plan. They had a plan before 9/11. They just used 9/11 as an excuse. Now, they're going to run the same play. Where do you think they're going? Finish it up, Wesley. They didn't finish this job, so they're about to
called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." I said, "We're going to war with Iraq? Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, "I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense office today," and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
the goal. What did Netanyahu say? This happened days ago. He threatened everybody. 2 weeks. 2 days. We're at war. And he threatens everybody else. Multi-front attack. The history. 8 years. 15 hours. Oh, look at this. What did I type in? Benjamin Netanyahu threatens other countries. What comes up? This. Israel's Netanyahu threatens to turn Gaza. He threatened all other countries that try to get involved. Okay. Three weeks, 1 day. Turn them into rubble. 2 weeks. So, we know what's about to happen. Right now, they're figuring out where they want to go, what they want to do with taking down or staging this attack. You got to understand. When you understand what happened at 9/11, that it wasn't Osama bin Laden from a cave in Tora Bora with a laptop computer that staged that whole so-called attack. Okay, when you understand what actually happened and what they used it for, we're about to see that right now. Okay, where is that? Let's watch a little bit of that. Let's listen to the language. I have to translate. Slovakia. That's a commercial.
On this Sunday night, bloodshed on both sides. The shock and horror as Israel's ground invasion of Gaza grows after that surprise attack by Hamas. Held hostage, plus the Canadians trapped with no way out. Our Jeff Semple is in Israel tonight. The chorus of condemnation.
Truly horrifying.
Israel has a right to defend itself.
As the U.S.
like America did.
military support is being mobilized. Also tonight, rocket fire launched from Lebanon. Rising fears the fighting will trigger a much wider conflict.
Global National with Farah Nasser.
Where's BB?
The sky over Israel tonight. More fire as another barrage of rockets is fired from Gaza. Just a day after Hamas launched a calculated and coordinated surprise attack on Israel, taking the lives of hundreds of people and triggering an Israeli counterattack on Palestinian territories,
This is clearly
killing even more in the crossfire.
This is clickbait because it says Netanyahu threatens, right? And he's not even in this. So let's go back. And they have his thumbnail. He's the picture on the thumbnail. Let's see, where'd it go? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so my bad on that one. Let's see. He gave a statement where he's like, if anybody tries to get involved in this, we're coming after you. If we find out you got anything to do with this. So their goal is to go there. And I don't have to go there. Vows revenge, right? 2 days, declares war.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו
We
במלחמה.
are at war.
לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחנית נגד מדינה.
Okay, we're not going to get into it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this because we're getting away from the point. The point is is this. This is the point. The point is this. Things look very familiar. Buildings don't fall like that.
Back with airstrikes of its own into Palestinian territory and calling up.
And here's the point. You know when buildings fall like that? When they're full of exculpatory evidence, okay, against whoever needed those buildings to come down. There's probably a whole bunch of information that they need to be destroyed, like in Building 7, like in the Murrah building. What was the Murrah building holding? Let's get that real quick. Watch this, because buildings don't fall like that.
Palestinian territory and calling up.
See that? That's a controlled demolition. Sorry. You have to destroy the base of the building, wire it up with explosives to get it to fall that way.
With airstrikes of its own into Palestinian territory and calling up.
And it doesn't fall immediately after a blast. That's just terrible. Anybody that believes that at this point, there's nothing that I can say to you. Let's see. Let's see if we can get any information. What really happened? What information was destroyed in the Murrah building? And if you don't understand what the Murrah building was, right, you got to think Timothy McVeigh, the bomber, right? See what information was destroyed. So we can't go to any of these .gov sites. You got to find somebody's information that's still up here after they expunged it all. You got to find some homemade info, right, of somebody telling the truth. Bill of Rights. And you see all of these national sites that they already got it well underhand. Let's do this. Watch. Let's go. Let's call incriminating information destroyed in OKC bombing. See if anybody's video is still lingering out here. Extremism today, 10 years crime of the century, CNN. So anything like this, PBS, CNN, they're not going to have the truth on there. This guy, Mr. Beat, might have it. Let's see. Okay, because you just can't go to any of these controlled sites. 60 Minutes ain't going to have. Vice ain't going to tell you the truth. Right? Let's see what Mr. Whatever said. In Salakia, I'm kind of just, going in the spirit right now. Because if you understand these things, why did they bomb this building? Why did Timothy McVeigh bomb this building if he did it at all? Okay? When you understand the MENA cover-up, right? You got Murrah, you got MENA. What does MENA go back to? Right? Arkansas. It goes back to a little airfield, right? That cocaine was coming into. Iran-Contra And where did they store all of that? Whitewater. Remember all of that? Where did they store all that information right as it was about to go to court? They stored all that information where? In the Murrah building. So when the Murrah building blows up and all of that information is destroyed, you can't put that exculpatory evidence on trial, can you? Now, if anybody's going to tell the truth about what happened at Oklahoma City, that's what they would say. Let's see how far this guy is going to go. See, look at this. What is that? Let's proceed anyway.
This video is sponsored in part by News Voice.
Okay,
hey there, I'm Mr. Beats. When I was in middle school, the deadliest terrorist attack in American history up to that point happened about 3 hours from where I lived. I freaked out. I had a hard time understanding how such an evil act could happen. Died after being hit on the head by debris trying to rescue victims. 26 others were injured during rescue. The fact that others in Junction City had described others with McVeigh, they began looking into a dude named Terry Nichols and his brother James. After digging deeper, agents found out that Terry and McVeigh were good friends, to use a weapon of mass destruction, in multiple counts, and Americans who just so happened multiple sources for the same stories and tags the bias and perspective of each source. News Voice is also created by its...
This is bullshit. So we're probably not going to find it. I should probably look. Let's see. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a whole lesson on it. Because it's going to take some searching to find this. I'd probably be a lot better off going to DuckDuckGo. Let's see. Because that many years ago, let's see, Clinton information. I got that right. Unfounded conspiracy theory. See, as soon as you see that, Post falsely links Hillary and Whitewater scandal, of course. Baseless Oklahoma City bomb. See how none of this came up in a Google search? Because it's the baseless and conspiracy, that's where you find the truth. Okay, why would it say that? And how come people don't know? Okay. Ashcroft blames Clinton era FBI. Detect September. No, that's not what. Suppressed what? Lewinsky. Baseless. Oklahoma City bombing conspiracy. Let's see. Fact check. This is where you find the truth, people. Be not ignorant. Links to, let's see, oh, conspiracy. Let's see. Oh, made the claim. It says this building was blown up and destroyed, was to be indicted. Okay, it says, reminder, this building in Oklahoma City was blown up and destroyed just 4 days before Hillary Clinton was to be indicted in the Whitewater scandal. All documents lost. This is why. This is why it was brought down. Okay, you can believe what you want to, but why is this out there? Is this just a conspiracy theory? Okay. Well, guess what? The same conspiracy theory goes to Building 7. All right? The same conspiracy. all of the stuff that was going to be used in trial, right? Going up to the money that was stolen and all of that, the money that had disappeared, and right, it was all stored in Building 7. Same thing that happened. So there's a pattern, right? So when we see this, if that's a pattern, buildings being blown up to hide evidence, fuck is this? What is this? This is buildings being blown up. Must be some evidence in there.
Into Palestinian territory and calling up.
Okay? Because these buildings are clearly didn't know rocket fire or whatever Hamas doesn't have. Bring buildings down like that. That's it. All right? Let's get one more precept on the way up. Second Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan, there he is, the red guy. Where's the red guy at? Lest Satan, red Satan, should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Guess what? We know about these building collapses. We know about it. You can say what you want to. And you could call me a conspiracy theorist and a nut.
Into Palestinian territory and calling
But guess what? We know. We can read right through what you're trying to deceive the people. Be not deceived.
back with airstrikes of its own into Palestinian territory.
Timing was bad. Another thing. What is this? Somebody explain this. These people are sitting here with hard hats on, waiting, and doing what? They're documenting the whole situation. What are you doing? Shouldn't you be running for your lives? You're under attack. Run for your life. What you doing with the phone out? Hey, you're not running. What is this? Why are these people not afraid? They're not afraid. Hey, nigga, they just blowing shit up. We could be next, but we're not running for our lives. Fuck out of here with that. We hope that the elect are edified. Brothers and sisters, excuse my language. Shalom.